that Abel asked about what's the best grass cutter, and then he listed a bunch of random items. So you had the Biggoron sword, which for grass cutting you would assume has the biggest, the most area it would cover out of the swords. You got the Great Fairy Sword, which is another pretty big sword. There's the Magic Boomerang, and then the Pegasus Boots. For those who don't know, when you have those, you can kind of sprint through grass, and it kind of cuts it as you run. And then there's the Master Sword. This is a question, and me being editor-in-chief at Zelda side should know the answer to this. Has the Master Sword, and because this changes up my answer entirely, has the Master Sword ever shot laser beams?
Yes.
When you've got full
Skyward
hearts.
Sword, besides Skyward Sword?
In the original game. Or,
Link to the
I guess
Past
that wouldn't
Sword.
be the Master Sword.
That wasn't the Master Sword in the original game.
Yeah.
No, you kind of just swung it around and it made the Link power move.
As I said, I know in Skyward Sword it technically does, but I try not to count that because that was kind of, we haven't seen the Master Sword actually. I don't think we've seen it do it since that game. In terms of the lore.
I think the Link to the Past technically shoots it when you've got full hearts, when you've actually got the Master Sword.
It does? Okay.
Yes. It shoots the 3-ring thing.
Okay. That's all I need to know because, when you consider, when you're cutting grass, I mean, this is a really silly question, but grass cutting is a big deal in Zelda. That's why I can't wait for Zelda U. Need to cut all that grass.
That's exactly what I look forward to in a new Zelda game. Like how much grass we can cut.
Just how much grass I can cut. How many pots I can make.
Well,
it's the little things in Zelda that make you happy.
Yeah, out of the options he presented, I'm pretty partial to the Pegasus boots. I mean, I know those technically don't cut the grass themselves.
You're going to be running around for hours.
No, I really love it. Like, I love just dashing through the grass and be like, get out of my way, grass. I got places to go, and then I hit a wall.
Through the grass.
Yeah, but see, to me, that's the downfall of the Pegasus boots. It's like you go in that straight line, and you're limited by how much grass you trample or cut, as it were, by where the wall is. Like you can't turn.
Still makes me very happy.
And
we haven't gotten a 3D Pegasus boots. I want some 3D Pegasus boots that let you dash across Hyrule Field.
Man. I'm just looking at those options. You got the Biggoron sword, the Great Fairy sword, Magic Boot. What makes the Great Fairy sword stand out again? Is there? I can't remember if there's anything special that does. If it's just a big sword,
it just looks great.
It just looks cool. Okay.
I mean, it's very for me. It's pure aesthetic reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember if that actually. I mean, I remember getting it. I just don't remember if it actually did anything that would help specifically with grass cutting. The Magic Boomerang, obviously that's kind of interesting but see, like to me, like the Magic Boomerang and the Pegasus boots would be on like the same level where it's kind of like that straight line grass cutting you get.
I don't feel like those are the most effective.
No, I really like. You're not. What do you mean by like best grass cutter? Like, are you just talking the most area? Like, if you want to cover the most area, those two definitely wouldn't be it for me, unless. Like, for some reason, the Pegasus boots are in Zelda U, and you can just endlessly sprint across the field. You will cut more grass.
I am all for
Nate, do you cut the grass of your lawn?
Do I cut my lawn?
Yeah. Do you cut your own grass? Okay. Now, how do you cut your grass? Let me ask you something. Like, what's your system?
What's my system?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want the boring version, or you don't want me to elaborate?
Yeah, you could just straightforward. Like, what do you go up and down? You go around about. What's your angle? Because if you're kind of guy that cuts your grass just straight up, then the boots or the boomerang, they're gonna be the right for you. They're gonna be your choices. But if you're kind of
like my grass. Okay, so like when I cut my lawn, okay, for starters, I don't obviously use any of these items. I use a riding lawnmower. So like if I want to consider like what would best represent what I'm doing with that. So there's two ways I cut my grass. One is I just go in a giant circle around my whole yard, and I just keep going in that circle over and over again until I hit my house. Okay,
now if you do it in circles, I recommend you do it in swords. If you want to go up and down, like in lines, I recommend you take the boots or the other thing.
Or I mean diagonal. That's the other way I do it.
I mean diagonal. That's boots or the boomerang.
But see, at the same time, when I'm cutting my grass, I'm thinking more of what's the quickest way I can do it and have it still look good. And if I had an option where I could just, if I knew, like when you play the games, okay, because I know we're relating this to real life here. When you're swinging your sword, if you're around a bunch of bushes or a whole thing of grass, you can see exactly where that sword grassing is going to stop. And if I could see that in real life, I could walk that straight line and still cover more area.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I feel like a sword would actually be more effective. However, I have to walk. And boomerang, I could just toss it.
I think if we're looking at most efficient, not so much looking at the best way to do it or, anything like that. I think the best way, or the most fun way to do would be the bombs.
Well, that's true, but that's not an option here.
Well, I mean,
See,
I'm just
I
going
mean,
off
if we
the
want to
board.
bring in all the Zelda items, we could go crazy here. But he literally says Bigoron Sword, Great Fairy Sword, Magic Boomerang, Pegasus Boots, or the Master Sword.
I just thought I'd go a bit off the board here and create creators in my backyard.
I know, I'm trying to bring it back in because if we go off the board on this question.
I'm just thinking, I'm just imagining someone, throwing frag grenades at their lawn, just I want to make this quicker!
And then I have to, I have to ask this question because this would actually make the grass cutting, especially in Zelda, the point of the grass cutting is to eliminate the grass and get your money or whatever items pop up. So if you're just trying to eliminate the grass, when I throw the magic boomerang, do I get to throw it through my fire pit?
Huh.
Because then you want to talk about area. I mean, that's going to take care of my whole yard in
Couldn't
one
you
throw.
just get a match or a lantern? If we're talking Zelda
But
items,
that's
a
not an
lantern.
option. That's not an option.
Oh.
Yeah, we're
In
looking
this
at the options
conversation.
here, and we've thrown boomerangs through fire before in the game. So.
I think your pit counts as another item, so I'm gonna say
But
not
it's part of my
available.
yard.
Not available on this route.
But when we go out into the world of Zelda, there are.
Nate, I didn't make these rules. I'm just following them.
All right. So I can't do anything special to the items to make them more effective. Okay.
No, there
Got
ain't no
it.
strategy
I guess
here.
that makes sense. So, in that same vein, can you assume the Master Sword shoots beams because you need full health?
I mean, how do you feel right now?
Not fully healthy. I'll tell you
Okay,
that.
then no.
Dang it. So, I mean, I know this. We're having some fun with this, and I don't know how much longer we keep talking seriously about it, because it was a very silly question. And thank you, Abel, for asking a silly question. It's good to have some fun. To be honest, if I had to pick between these for cutting my own lawn, I would go with the Bigoron Sword. I feel like it has the most area and the biggest swipe, regardless of the fact I can probably barely lift the sword myself.
I
Good answer.
reckon if I had a choice of any tool in Legend of Zelda, just to go a bit off
jeez.
topic,
You
I think
like this off topic. This tells me you don't like the tool choices he's given you.
Well, I mean, I just think I'd like to select all options. I'm just thinking the spinning top from Twilight Princess. I can't remember the actual name of it. It's like the
Spinner.
Yeah, just the spinner. Then I think that would be absolutely perfect for mowing lawns.
All right, Jeff, what would you pick?
Out of all the items he proposed,
Yes.
I'm still with the Pegasus boots. They just make me so happy.
Awesome. And Chris?
Yeah.
I would go agree with you with the big Goron sword.
Yeah, I just think the most area there. So there you have it, Abel. Those are the ones that we would pick. I'm really sorry that Luke decided that your list isn't good enough and went with Spinner.
I'll go with the list Pegasus boots because
Oh, there we go. So we got two big
most
Sword,
fun.
two Pegasus boots. I think
Yeah.
this calls for a ZI votes poll. Which one? You know what? I think that's going to be our next ZI votes poll. I'm having a hard time coming up with questions for it. You know what? Pegasus boots, Bigoron Sword. Which one's the best grass cutter? Sounds like a deal.